What is happening, my good people? Greetings. How are you? How's it going? How's everybody doing out there? What is the latest and greatest? It's a Wednesday. Let's bring up the graphic. February the 4th, the first one of the month where we all get together and we debate and we agree and we disagree. This is how we do every Wednesday for now almost a year. Come to think of it. So for those who are hopping on board for the very first time, welcome aboard. And for those who have been with me from almost a year, welcome back. As we break down everything that's happening in all the sports, I got a few interesting topics. One that may not, I don't know. I wonder how people are going to feel about this. And I will start it off pretty much in the first comment, or my first topic, I should say. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of comments after that. But with that being said, for those who obviously know the drill in the chat room, share your thoughts. I'll post it up here for everyone to see. As like I said, we can agree, disagree, back and forth, friendly banter. And obviously, this is your opportunity to get at me to ask questions, follow up with answers, whatever it may be, as we move it along here over the course of the next couple of hours. Those who are watching the replay, of course, they can comment as well, and I'll get back to you. So just because you're not on with us live doesn't mean that you can't put forth a comment. Or if you're wondering, Jay Reels, why would you even say that? Or you know what, Jay Reels, I do agree with you. That's pretty good. So therefore, you have an opportunity to leave a comment. And speaking of which, let's get right to it, where I know we have Fishing Angel right off the bat with a good afternoon, of course. Minnesota, my guy, Mr. Kyle Bull, Everyday Mets, Dad's Chips, Rhoda Penmark, Jonathan Sean Cup. He's got it all. I think I'm missing one, too. Of course, Tatsuya Amai. Can't forget him. As he thinks that he thinks Steve Cohen paid him off for Carlos Beltran to get in the Hall of Fame. And that's what he's going to do, wear a Met hat. I don't know. Did Steve Cohen somehow, some way said, here's I'm not going to say blank check. Or did the Hall come out and say that? Because, sometimes the Hall will make the decision for the player, which I think is silly. But Beltran going in as a Met, he's only going to be, think about it, the third Met to go in with the third player to go in with a Met hat on. Tom Seaver, of course, Mike Piazza, and now it'll be Carlos Beltran. Not even Gary Carter. I believe he went in with an Expo hat, which I can understand. Carter's with the Mets for what, 4.5 years? So that's what I'm going to look at as far as Beltran goes. And then as I scroll down here, what did the Pistons just do? I don't like it at all. Uh-oh. Hang on a second. The trade deadline is tomorrow. I'm going to touch on that also. Let's see. Let me check if I go NBA. No, I haven't seen anything yet. Yeah, we know about James Harden, which I'm going to get to. I know he's low-hanging fruit, James Harden, which is unfortunate. But what did the Pistons do? I'm going back now to... Yeah, we know about that. We know about that trade. I guess I got to go to NBA trade rumors because I don't want this either. All right, well, Jay, you're going to have to get me up to speed on what's happening because based on what I'm looking at here, Austin Reeves coming back. Yeah, we know. Celtics trade for Vucevic. I know Jaren Jackson Jr. That was a little bit of a surprise. Yeah, I'm sure you're going to post it up in the notes here or in the comments, but I did not see what's happening with the Pistons. And then what do we have here? Minnesota JSO picks a friend. Oh, no, is that right? Oh, you got to put the link in here or something. Yeah, because for people who don't know, Francisco Alvarez, the Met catcher, he is built like a fire hydrant. But based on what I'm reading here, I don't know. I guess did he go no carb? Did he lay off of the soda? Who knows what it is, but I wonder what's going on with him. And, yeah, lost tons of muscle too. I'll definitely research that to see what is happening with him. Thoughts on James Harden going to the Davs? Well, listen, I got nothing personal against James Harden. We all know in big spots, he shrinks. Now, I think the Cavs, obviously, they got to upgrade. If you're going to ask me who would I rather have on the team, Darius Garland or James Harden, I'm not going to be stupid to think that James Harden, who I get it when you're looking at metrics, one of the great offensive scorers, et cetera. But to me, the guy just can't win a big game to save his life. And I understand it's a team game. Basketball is a little bit different because one guy can take over a game and show that if he's going to impose his will on the other team, a la Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, and I get it that you're talking two of the all-time greats, but Harden hasn't shown you that. And that's the one thing, if I'm a Cavalier fan, I'd be worried. And I know you root for the Cavs there, Minnesota. So here's the other problem. And I get it that he's played with Russell Westbrook and he's played with Kyrie and all that. And listen, he asked for his exit there. He and Donovan Mitchell, they handle the ball a lot. And I understand that to a certain extent, Donovan Mitchell's going to defer, but that's his team. Harden, let's face it, he's a mercenary. So although on the surface it is an upgrade, and Garland, he has this toe issue and his foot, he's all these nagging injuries. And I understand Garland is a very good player, but even at 36 years of age, and I understand he's had a very good year, Harden, but let me see him in a game 5, game 6, or game 7 come up huge. That's it. And that's what the Cavaliers are banking on. They're hoping that whatever success he has in the regular season, and he could beat up on the Sacramento Kings, he could beat up on the Charlotte Hornets, who actually have been playing pretty decent. He could beat up on the Wizards. He could beat up on all these bad teams. But when you get to a 7-game series, and yeah, he may go off on a couple of games, but in the latter part of a series, the guy is nowhere to be found, not even with a GPS, a magnifying glass, and a roadmap. I mean, you can't find the guy. And that's how I think about Harden. I mean, again, on the surface, you like to trade, but look at the back of his playoff basketball card in big games. Forget it. Oh, yeah, no, that trade. Oh, okay. I thought maybe they had another trade there, Jay, because when you said that, I said, wait a second. Am I missing something here? Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise, I will say. And yeah, I'm also looking at no buyout talks for Kings DeRozan. I know he's another one that's probably going to want to go elsewhere. And Draymond Green, who knows? Giannis obviously is the big fish there, where who knows where he's going to end up going. And chances are, based on some of the things that I've heard, that he's probably going to stay put. But here's the thing about that trade, Jay. Kevin Huerter, he's a good three-point shooter. And he was on that Hawk team that went to a conference final in 2021. And you're going to say, well, big whoop, a conference final. I get it. He may not be as explosive as a guy like Jaden Ivey, but he is going to provide some scoring. And a guy that has confidence from behind the arc. And you're going to need that come postseason. So right now, regular season, whether they win 55 games, 60 games, they're going to be a 1 seed. It's the playoffs where you're going to have the guys rise to the occasion. And listen, I'm not trying to make Kevin Huerter out to be Steph Curry, but he has shown a propensity on past playoff teams that he's able and willing to shoot the basketball and not a guy that's going to play hot potato, let's say late fourth quarter, because other than Cade, who's the one guy you're going to go to on that team? And that's also not to say that Huerter's going to play big-time crunch minutes. He probably will, but he brings another option. That's the only reason why I like the trade. But I get it. You're giving a young asset in Ivy and Cunningham in the backcourt was redundant. Obviously, I'm not following it the way you do, but from afar, that's what I'm thinking. And like I said, if I pull up Huerter's numbers, hold on. And right, don't look at it by the points per game and all that, because a lot of people are going to look at, oh, he's only averaging whatever. If I had to guess, 13 points a game? A little less. 10 points. Wait, mute that there. He's averaging 10. But if I look beyond the numbers, can I look beyond the numbers? Numbers? There we go, stats. Volume up, so if you hear that in the background, my apologies. I mean, look what he shoots from 3. This year, he's shooting 45% from three. And in the past, he's a lifetime 44% three-point shooter. That's a guy you want to have on your team. He's not expected to do much. He's not expected to score the way Kate Cunningham is, but he's a guy that come off the bench. And listen, this year's numbers are low, but in his heyday with Atlanta and even Sacramento, like that 2021 year, he averaged 11-9. In Sacramento, his first year, he averaged 15-2. And that year, he averaged 48% from three. I mean, no way, I take that back. Hold on. That's 48% from the field. So listen, that's my era. I got to go back with these numbers again. Hold on. That's 48 from three. He's at 37%, which is not bad. I mean, you would like to see him get close to 40. And this year, he's actually shooting low. So I guess maybe his stock's low. He's on the Bulls. Yeah, listen, I can see why you're upset. Only because Ivy's a young asset. I understand he hasn't stayed healthy. But Herder, let's see. Change of scenery. Obviously, he's going to play in a first-place team. Let's see how he unfolds. All right, here we go. Another video. If you hear that, my apologies. Let's get that out of here. Now let's get back to this. So, yeah, no, I can understand why you're a little perturbed by that. But he's a veteran shooter, and those guys don't grow on trees. Val, welcome. I know your Warriors lost. Steph was out. Yes, he was. And your guy, Will Smith. Of course, always liking the live, which I appreciate that. Oh, did he really? Christian McCaffrey? I didn't know that. I didn't know they had a Salute to Service award. All right. Yeah, Dario Saric, who's been on a million teams, Suns, Sixers. He's more of a role guy. No, listen, you have every reason not to like it. I mean, and what did Ivy do? Let me look at his numbers. I'm sure you probably have him right there offhand. Jaden Ivey. As I'm on NBA.com. Let me see stats. Players. How about that? There we go. Jaden Ivey. He is 8'2". Yeah, forget about the rebounds and assists. I mean, for a guy who's a point guard, he should have more. And listen, I understand he's been out too. No, I mean, the one thing you like about Ivey's is athleticism, but I know his health. I mean, that was a game from a few years ago. Why are they showing this? Oh, Pistons hits March 7, 2023. All right, they're going back to a game 3 years ago. Listen, I can understand. Homegrown guy and how you feel upset about the trade. I mean, we'll see. I do like Herder. Again, not that he's going to light the world on fire, but he's a guy that's not afraid to take a shot. George Kittle told him he won it. CMC saw in a video. Oh, okay. All right. And a later first-round swap with the T-Wolves. Yeah. Listen, I can see why you're not happy. It's one of those things that you could only hope that the trade will pay off in some way, shape, or form. And I think this move is more for the playoffs than it is for regular season. And listen, I know we still got another 2 months to go before we could even talk about it. But, I mean, that's how I look at it based on, and that was what? That trade happened, I think, on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. So, Fishing Angel, Red Wings won again, yes. Stanley Cup playoffs. Yeah, I can see that too. Now, how many points are they behind? Because I know what's it called doesn't lose. Tampa. And they had a crazy win the other day where they came from behind. And they were down 5-1 to the Bruins in the Stadium Series game. Red Wings. 4 points back, but the Lightning have 3 games in hand. That's one thing you got to be a bit concerned about. But they're going to make the playoffs. Yeah, I wouldn't be worried about them. And right now, they'd face the Sabres. Because the Sabres right now are in third place. And good for them. They've actually had a very good year, considering they haven't made the playoffs in 15 years. And don't look now. And I mentioned this on the podcast on Monday. Who's in last place in the Atlantic? The 2-time defending Cup champs, Florida Panthers. Listen, I don't know. Last I checked, I think they were 8 points behind the second wild card in the East. Yeah, and I said this even after when they beat Edmonton. I said they are not going back to a Stanley Cup final. And listen, that wasn't a long I mean, I wasn't going out on a limb by any means because they have already gone to 3 straight Stanley Cup finals and they've won the last 2, as you know. Yeah, it has not clicked for them this year. I understand no Alexander Barkov. They haven't had Matthew Tkachuk up until recently. They've certainly listen, they're gassed. And I understand once they get to, if they do get to the playoffs, a lot of people are going to look at the Panthers, oh, you don't want to play them. And that could be true, but that's not a team that you're going to automatically expect for the light to go on or the switch to go on, and then they're going to take off. I'll say that now. When teams have years like this, and even if they do make it to the postseason, it doesn't automatically mean that, oh, watch out, because at least with this team, I'm not buying it. Without question. Val. Yes. I saw that. And I think that's a good hire. Now, Reich, we know, has also been a coach. That situation where Glenn hopefully doesn't feel like he's going to be looking over his shoulder. But I like the hire. I know the typos. I know what you meant. Saw it on next. Oh, I got it backwards. Saw this on next. I didn't click that. All right, then McCaffrey, I know you said, salute to recipient. The Kings still play basketball. Yeah, they still play. They definitely do. Ivy getting hurt last season killed his hope. Yeah. That's the reason. I mean, listen, I know you're on top of it there, Jay. So if anybody knows, that'd be you. Let me see. 4 points. Sorry, yes. 4 points back. And Sharks Avalanche, that's going to be a big game. Am I going to make a Super Bowl final prediction today? You know what? Just for you, Minnesota, I will. How about that? I will do that today. And you know what? That's a good segue. Because the first thing I want to talk about is this. I understand it's 2 weeks. I understand that the media day with all the pomp and circumstance, I haven't heard one soundbite. I'm not into the Super Bowl press unless there's a breaking story, an injury, or God forbid you have a Stanley Wilson or Eugene Robinson. And both of those incidents happened in Miami, by the way. For those who don't know, Stanley Wilson before Super Bowl 23 and Eugene Robinson before, was that Super Bowl 33, I think it was. Yeah, when he was with the Falcons. Yeah, how one was out freebasing all night and the other was out solicited for prostitution. There has been zero hype. And even when I talked about it Monday with the storylines, there is, is this even going to be a good game? I kind of hate to say it that way. The hype for this game has been minimal. And I want to hear, oh, well, New England's back. And yeah, people could say that, but because of their schedule, because of their, I won't go as far as saying cakewalk, but they did have some rose petals thrown on their path to a Super Bowl. Cheers, H2O. Sorry, Fishing Angel. Next week, I'll get back to juice, or coconut water. But, oh, man, this has just been rough. And I understand that not every Super Bowl is going to be glitz and glam. Or, oh, wow, this matchup. Look at last year, Kansas City, Philly. We saw that 2 years prior. And even then I said, I wasn't really hyped up for that. But this one really has, at least you could say, all right, the Chiefs are going for a three-peat. Revenge factor for the Eagles. And I understand that the Seattle fan base, they're going to want revenge for what happened 11 years ago, but those cast of characters are long gone. There's no Russell Wilson. There's no Richard Sherman. There's no Tom Brady. There's no Bill Belichick. Nothing. And Pete Carroll can't get revenge for the boneheaded play call there to the Malcolm Butler play. But you've had nothing. Oh, this has been bad. And to be honest, the game could be just as bad. And I'll get into a little bit of that. I'll give you a prediction as well. But here's what you're going to have to deal with over the next few days. You're going to have to deal with more of the rigmarole regarding the Patriots as far as them trying to win a 7th Super Bowl. And I understand it's a storyline, but still, you got that. Drake May in his second year. Can he win the game? Sam Darnold. I mean, that's all you have. That's it. Besides that, what do you have? What, Mike Vrabel in his first Super Bowl, and obviously he played on those Patriot teams in the early 2000s. Mike McDonald, the former Raven defensive coordinator, excuse me. Second year, I think it's the second, or third year, second. No, it's the second. And him getting there to the Super Bowl, you don't have a lot to really wrap your arms around when it comes to this Super Bowl, other than the play with Malcolm Butler there at the goal line. That's it. And I'm sorry for those who think that this game, it could be a good game. And I understand when I make my prediction, and as far as just a little bit of a breakdown of the game, I know the Patriot fan is not going to like it. And it's not an anti-Patriot pick. It's just really, I'm going with my gut and my heart. But to me, you've got nothing, man. I mean, you're grasping for straws to try to get storylines, to try to get any teeth into this game. In fact, and not that I'm telling you anything you guys and gals don't know, but when you get to, especially if you're living on the East Coast, when you get to, it's going to be 6:45 before they kick this ball off. It is an absolute bore, slog, and literally it's just, can we just start the game? It's not even about the game anymore. And that's the other thing about the hype to this game, because everything is about outside the game than it is about the game. Everything's about, oh, we're going to see Green Day perform. And I got nothing against Green Day. They're a great band, etc. Oh, how they're going to perform, I guess, before the national anthems. And you know there's going to be the two national anthems as we've seen over the last few years. You're going to have the coin toss. You're going to have whatever else, the video introductions to the teams. And that takes whatever. We should just get to 6 o'clock. All right, I understand you have your little opening, your little video montage, whatever, to kind of introduce. All right, 6 o'clock. You have a pregame show that starts at 12. I mean, seriously, do we need a 6-hour pregame? Nobody cares. Maybe in my 20s and 30s, even for Super Bowl 30, I wasn't wrapped up in the pregame because I know the players. I know what they've been through. All right, maybe there's a personal story along the way, and you know there's going to be a segment on Sam Darnold, and he's the one guy that you're going to look at and be like, wow, what he's been through, etc. Other than that, we're going to what? Jackson Smith and Jigba's road to the Super Bowl? What about Stephon Diggs? Really? With the whole Cardi B? I mean, no. I could care less. Get me to the game. And that's what's going to happen. You're going to have the game on at 6. You're going to see some of the commercials. You're going to be warmed up. You already probably have eaten, whatever. And then you're going to get, oh, here's Green Day. And you're looking at your watch at 6:18. And all right, well, okay. Then you're going to get to the first national anthem. Then you're going to get to the second national anthem. Then you're going to get the flyover. Then you're going to get the coin toss. Then you're probably going to get another, oh, here's your honorary team member to put the tee out so they can kick off the ball. I mean, it's never ending. That's why it's not even a game anymore. It's an event. I can understand it's a Super Bowl. Everybody's watching. I get it. But enough. It is about the game. And do I even need to unpack the halftime? I won't do that only because depending on your preference, and we know pretty much what people's preferences are, and that's fine. I haven't talked about doing a halftime because I wanted to get a guest on, but obviously it's kind of hard. I want to get a football guest. I didn't want to get a guest that's outside of football because it is Super Bowl Sunday. And of course, everybody's going to be watching the game. Everybody's going to be dialed in, whatever. And I understood. But it's one of those things that, yeah, go get food, have halftime, go out, go for a jog, refill your drink, whatever. That's why I'm thinking about coming on. And my family can watch the halftime. That's fine. They're going to be wrapped up in it. If anything, if it was that great, I'll watch on YouTube. I mean, it's going to be on YouTube literally probably an hour after the performance. And nobody's going to be wrapped up. Everybody's going to be watching the game at that point. So Yeah, I mean, it's just, it does not end. The game is secondary. And that's why the hype for this game, if it was a great game or a great matchup, you'd be like, ooh, I'm all about it. Let's get into it. That's why when I broke down the matchups, Patriots-Rams, I thought was first because you'd have Stafford, Drake May, you have the two, likely the 1 and 2 MVPs, depending on how you look at it. I think Stafford's going to win the MVP, and then Drake May likely would be the second or the first runner-up. You have that. You have the rematch. I understand no Brady Belichick, but it's relatively new because that was Super Bowl 53. Granted, that was 7 years already, which is crazy. But Sean McVay at least coached in the game. So McVay would look at it as like, oh, I can get some revenge against the team that beat me my first go around here. You have some storylines. You have LA and Boston when you think about it. It's Seattle and Boston. No offense to Seattle. But LA, a bigger market. Not that markets matter because everybody's watching the Super Bowl, but at least that was the game. And some people laughed at me and say, oh, you're nuts, Jay Reels. You don't know what you're talking about. Everybody wants Denver there or everybody wants Seattle there. No, Rams, Patriots, that would have been the better Super Bowl. And then the second one would have been, I felt, Rams and Broncos, only because you would have had Sean Payton, remember, when he was at New Orleans, lost to the Rams in that championship game, and against the coach that he went up against that day, you would have had that. I understand different set of circumstances, and I get it that you don't want to see Jarrett Stidham there. And even though I did mention that the Rams and Seahawks would have been the second better game. Oh, excuse me, Rams, Seahawks. The Rams and losing my train of thought here. Rams, Broncos. Oh, Seahawks, Patriots was number 2. I ranked that number 3. Just trying to reel my brain in here. Obviously, it's an overload right now. So, but when you have Rams, Patriots 1, Rams, Broncos 2, then I thought Seahawks, Patriots, and Seahawks, Broncos last. And like I said, this game, it brings you nothing. I'm sorry. It's Sam Darnold and the Patriots winning the 7th Super Bowl. Those are the two storylines. At least from what I see. And I'll get to the comments in a minute. And as far as the game goes, I'm just going to cut and dry. I know on the podcast tomorrow, I'll really get into the teeth of it. But I've even had people come at me to say that, oh, you say that the Seahawks defense is tailor-made for the Patriot offense. Well, it's the same the other way around. The Patriot defense is good. Let's see Sam Darnold step up in a big spot, whatever. Okay, that's legit, but we saw Sam Darnold understood against the Ram defense was not that good. They have talent, but they're not good from the standpoint of if you're going to match up the Ram defense with the Patriot defense. And then people want to say, oh, well, look at what the Rams did against them. They put up 27 points. You think the Patriots can't put up 27 points? No, that's why I say that the Seahawks defense is tailor-made for that Patriot offense, because they're going to put the ball in Drake May's hands. Really want to try to get it out of his hands because the guy fumbles left and right. But they want to put him in 3rd and long. They're going to put 8 in the box, and they're going to dare Drake May to beat him. Where if they try to do that with Sam Darnold, Darnold has a little bit more experience. And Darnold, think about what he's done here over the past 2 years. He won, 14 games last year with the Vikings. I understand he spit the bit in the last 2 games against Detroit and in the playoff game against the Rams. And then this year, again, 14 games in the regular season, 2 more in the playoffs. I mean, the guy has a body of work. Drake May doesn't have that. And Drake May, and I want to hear people, oh, well, he went up against the top 3 of the top 5 defenses so far in the playoffs. And the Chargers were 5. The Broncos, who were 1, and the Texans, I believe, were 2. And if I'm not mistaken, or maybe the Texans were 3rd and Seattle's 2. Well, Seattle they're going to play on a fast track. There's going to be no snow. There's going to be no slop. There's going to be none of that. And how did that Patriot offense do against that defense in Mile High? They did nothing. Yeah, they got a gift touchdown after that fumble by Stidham where they got the ball at what? Like the 10-yard line. I mean, come on. And yes, the one drive out of the half where they took off 9 minutes off the clock and they got a field goal. That's all they did in the game. And that's why I said the Seahawks defense is tailor-made for that offense. Because we know about the Seahawks offense, and if you're going to talk about offenses, the Pat offense does not compare to the Seahawks one. And I'm not trying to make the Seahawks offense to be the greatest show on turf. But Darnold, got to give him props. Guys had a tremendous year. Jackson Smith and Jigba, who I believe is, if not first, he's second team All-Pro NFL. You have Kenneth Walker, who's a good running back. I mean, the team is, come on. I mean, the offense is really good. And the offensive line is good too. So I don't think that by any means that Ram offense is going to put, unless they're going to get turnovers, pick sixes or fumble recoveries or things of that nature. And I think they'll have their moments, the offense, because I'm not trying to make the Seattle defense out to be the 85 Bears, but like the Patriot fan, they're like puffing their chests out, thinking that, oh, look what the Rams did to them. Oh, look at the other. Look at what the Niners, and I understand they're nicked up, no George Kittle, and I understand. They got 6 points against them. And Matthew Stafford is a whole hell of a lot better than Drake May at this stage of his career. And that's why they were able to put up 27 points in the game. Is Drake May going to put up 27 points? And I'm talking about their offense. No punt returns for touchdowns, no pick sixes, no short fields. And I understand the short fields count. If they get the ball at the 10-yard line, fine. But I want to see them 8 plays, 75 yards. 7 plays, 70 yards. That's what I want to see. 13 plays, 80 yards. Let me see them do that against the Seahawks defense, and then we'll talk. All right? So, and look, Buffalo carved the Denver Bronco defense in the second half of that game. I understand weather conditions. I get that. But you think the Patriots are going to do that? I don't think so. And I'll get to the comments in a moment. I see them piling up. But as far as the game itself, and I'll go both ways, I think to me, it's going to be based on 2 things. Drake May, butterflies, stage fright. I understand the kid is cool, calm, and collected, etc. But those first couple of drives, I'm sure they're going to be nerve-wracking. And it's not to say Darnold's not going to get that, but the spotlight's going to be squarely on him. And how he's going to be able to withstand 3rd and longs, or even 2nd and longs for that matter, I think first down is enormous for the Patriots to win this game. If you're going to be 2nd and 9, 3rd and 11 the whole game, 3rd and 7, forget it. They need first down. They got to average about 5 yards a carry or 5 yards per play. And I think Josh McDaniels, we know he's a good offensive mind. He'll find a way to get the best out of his quarterback, whatever. But if they're not successful on first down, and let's see what the numbers are on 3rd down in this game, forget it. The Seahawks defense is going to pin their ears back, and they're going to want to unload, and that's it. And that's where I see Drake May. He's going to be forcing throws. He's going to probably end up putting that ball on the turf a couple of times due to strip sacks. So that's number one. And then the other thing is, and I get it, we could talk Darnold, so 100%, you can. But to me, the Patriots, it's going to be squarely on their defense because Sam Darnold could have a 17 for 29, 190, 200 yards, maybe a touchdown, an interception, and they could still win the game. The Patriot defense, even if they put forth an effort where they give Darnold that, is Drake May going to outlast them? And my point is that the Patriots could do their job on Sam Darnold, but this is where I feel that this game is going to be all on the Patriot offense. And I understand offense versus defense. I said tailor-made. But And I think Seattle could, to me, I think this game could get ugly rather quick. Will it? Of course, everybody you're going to hear is going to say, oh, I think it's going to be a close game. And it probably will. I wouldn't be surprised because the Patriots, in their, 3 losses, they don't get blown out. But I could see this unravel quickly. And how I really feel in my heart of hearts, I think Seattle's going to win this game. Maybe not going away early, although I could see that. But I could see it being a situation where second half, there'll be a fumble. There'll be maybe an untimely interception or a bad interception by May. And then that's when they'll start going downhill. So maybe it's 14-10 at the half, Seattle. And then the next thing you know, it could be 34-17 when it's all said and done. And I could see it being a game like that. Now, would I be shocked if New England won? I can't say I'd be shocked, but I think I'd be surprised. Because despite the fact that the Patriots have had a big year, but they have not faced an opponent of this caliber. And people say, oh, Jay Reels, what about Denver last week? I mean, come on. We didn't have the starting quarterback. I'm not making Bo Nix out to be John Elway, but still. The snow, the elements, Sean Payton's awful play calling. To me, that was indicative more on them, an indictment on them than it was on the Patriots, their defense or offense win the game. So, yeah, I think it's going to be all based on what the Patriots do offensively to that Seattle defense is going to win the game. Because I think that even if Darnold, like I said, he can have a so-so game, they'll still win. Drake May can't have a so-so game for the Patriots to win. Then that means they almost have to pitch a shutout. They have to give up maybe 10 points tops in order for them to win the game. And that means the Patriots are getting pick sixes and short fields and things of that nature, and field position. And that's going to be also key, too. The Patriots are going to have to play with decent field position in this game. If they're starting every series at the 14 or whatever, I mean, and again, I'm not making the Seattle defense the 85 Bears, but their defense is really good. And, yeah, I don't want to hear, oh, look what they did to the Chargers. Look what they did to the Texans. I mean, look what C.J. Stroud did. He threw 4 interceptions in the first half. And one of them was a pick six. When the Texans were up 10-7. And the Chargers, please, the next time Justin Herbert wins a playoff game will be the first. He's 0-3. And I understand they had an offensive line and nicked up and said, but come on. And I get it. You got to give the Patriots credit. You have to give them to get to this point. But I don't want to hear that defense nonsense. I don't. And, we've given up 26 points in the games. I mean, the Chargers. I mean, seriously? Again. Right, you beat the teams out in front of you. Understood. But 3 points to L.A., 7 to the Broncos, 16. I was 16. I have to do my math right. 3, 7, 10, 16 to the Texans. Well, let's face it. I mean, C.J. Stroud was awful in the game. And listen, I get it that I'm throwing ice cold water on the Patriots right now, but I got to see a semblance of, some dominance. Just like we saw there in the championship game with Sam Darnold. I haven't seen that. And all of a sudden I'm supposed to believe now that, Drake May, as he's nursing his shoulder injury, as you know, but all of a sudden Drake May now is going to be Tom Brady in this game? I got to see it. Just like people could say, I got to see from Sam Darnold yet again. Yes. But you know what? He's playing with a lot of momentum. And he's had a great run here. So that's why I like the Seahawks. And let me get to this football note before I get to your comments. Speaking of the Patriots. So Robert Kraft gets snubbed. And maybe because he's the guy that owned the team, that was part of Spygate and Deflategate, etc. And it's mind-boggling because he's supposed to get 40 votes by the writers. He got less than 40. Did he get 39? Did he get 35? Did he get 20? My thing is that if Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick got snubbed, especially Belichick on the first ballot, because Kraft has been on the ballot, but now he's on the ballot. I think this was his first time as a contributor to the league. If those guys didn't get in on the first ballot, I mean, is Tom Brady getting on the first ballot? Now, that's for 2028. That's for 2 years from now. But you would have to think that Tom Brady's going to feel the brunt of this. And it would be criminal. I mean, who are we kidding? Yes. Is that on his resume? 100%. And yes, did he smash his cell phone when they wanted to confiscate it so they could look through the text messages? Yes, he did, as it was reported. But do you not think that he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer? I mean, you either just landed on Earth 5 minutes ago or you just need your head examined. And I'm not a Patriot fan. I'm not a Tom Brady lover, supporter, etc. But come on. Have you watched the games? Even the game against Philadelphia, the second one that he lost, and he threw for over 500 yards. And the Eagle defense was supposed to be good. He threw for over 500 yards in the game and still lost. What can you attribute to that? That's not Deflategate. That's not a Spygate situation. That's not them trying to – and if they try to steal signals on the field, then so be it. You could do that. Just like baseball, if you're trying to steal their signals. But, yeah, it's an absolute joke. Let's get to your comments. People, I love the comments. Love it, love it, love it. Let's see. Draymond. All right, I'll get to that there. All right, Fishing Angel likes the Seahawks. I'm with you. I could root for a coach that played Ohio State Seahawks 24, Pat 16. Yeah. Yeah, you have Jackson Smith and Jigba and I got to see who else on Ohio State is on as I'm looking this up. It's going to take me a while just to see who else on Seattle is from Ohio State. But, no, I hear you, Jay. What's this? I can't. What's going on with the typos today? Yeah, it happens. Draymond Green is getting traded. I know there have been rumors. They should have traded him. They shouldn't even have re-signed him after that Jordan Poole nonsense. And I think he signed right before then, if I'm not mistaken. They should have kept Poole. You want to have youth. I get it. Draymond Green, he's won championships, whatever. But if they could trade him, I would. Let him be somebody else's problem. I understand he's going to get his number risen to the rafters and all that, and he's going to be a Hall of Famer. And I've been down that road before, not to regurgitate that, but I would try to trade him. Val, if you ask me. For who? Different story. I just sent you a cartoon about Sam. It's pretty funny. All right, I'll definitely check that later. Derpy. What is happening? 501st 2. Excited for – I hear that. Who wouldn't be excited for the Puppy Bowl? I usually watch the Puppy Bowl prior to the game because in years past – and I'm going to watch the game. That's another thing. I might as well just throw that in there. And I've said this the other day. I thought about live streaming the game, but I'm going to be at my in-laws, and there's going to be other people there. And even though at halftime I can escape, I can go to another room and do my my live, which I will do. I will do a halftime live stream. I won't do it through the link. I'll do it through the app. So I won't send out a link. It's just going to be on the spot. But the years past, as much as I would have liked to have done a live stream, it's just going to be too many people. And I don't know if people want to hear me talking for 3.5 hours. So, but in the years past, let's say if I'm home, I'm not watching a pregame. I'm watching a Puppy Bowl. And of course, wife is into it, and we watch the Kitty halftime. Yeah. Derpy, I'm with you. 100. That's why I don't want them to win. So sick and tired of hearing about the Grammys. Yeah, I'm not. Listen, I don't even know. I know I'm going to sound like an old man. Half the people I don't even know. Or maybe not even that. Probably 3/4 of the people. And yeah, my wife's into watching the Grammys and things of that nature. But I don't know who Addison Rae is. I don't know who Olivia, what was her name? Dunn, I think her name is. Yeah, I don't even know these people. And it's funny, I may hear the song and I'd be like, oh yeah, I know, I've heard of the song. I could care less. Sorry. I mean, yeah, but that's just me. I mean, Draymond, yes. He's going to be gone. I don't know, Val. I don't know if he's going to be out. I didn't watch the Warriors game. Was out. Watched the fourth quarter. What's going on? They're hurt. No Jimmy Butler. No Jonathan Kuminga. I don't know if he's back yet. I don't even think so. Yeah, it's and listen, the Warriors right now, they're in that 7 to 10 playing range. But even still, if they're in the playing range, they've been ousted in that round. So, Robert, what's happening, my man? Yeah, I'm not that excited. Yep, I feel you. I'm with you. First, watch the clown show during halftime. Hey, look, all right. Well, I'm going to be on live. So, you just jump on your app, your YouTube. You'll see me. I'll talk about the game. I'll talk about pomp and circumstance. As I've said earlier, you're going to hear me say, oh, my God. And I'm going to clock what time. I remember last year, I think it started 6:43. It's going to be 6:45 before the game starts. I mean, it's terrible. It's oh, man. It's never about the game. I hate it. Listen, I hope it's a decent game, too. After last year's disaster, what was it, 24-0 at the half? It was 34-0. Eagles. Ugh. There's no doubt in my mind Drake May's going to take over. You think he's going to win this game, Minnesota? I hope not. Oh, I can't. Oh, the Patriots win this game? Oh, my God. And that's the thing about the Patriot fans. They want to puff their chests out and God's gift of football and all this nonsense. Oh, no. They need a loss. And I hope they lose badly. If they lose a close game or a bad call, no. That's right. 34-17, please. Thank you, Val. Appreciate that as always. So I'm going to say 34-17. I'm going to go the other way. I know I want to be close to the vest. Ooh, 24-21. Or on a last-second field goal, 24-23. Hell with it. I'm going 34-17. I really don't care about the Super Bowl. Just waiting for the Michigan Panthers. Michigan Panthers? You mean Wolverine? I know you mean Wolverines there, Jay. And that must be another what's the word I'm looking for? Another autocorrect? Not saying it right. My brain is fried right now. Or typos or autocorrect. Waiting for Michigan. Oh, look at this. Wait, am my eyes deceiving me? Fishing Angel is going 72-27. First of all, the most amount of points scored in a Super Bowl. Hey, listen, I love it. Something different, right? The most amount of points scored in a Super Bowl were the Niners, 55. It was 55-10. Dallas scored 52 in the Super Bowl. Nobody else has come close. Oh, I'd like to see it. Why not? As long as the Patriots don't win. Maybe they can make it back to the championship game this season and win it. You're talking about Michigan. I believe Jay's talking about Michigan. Pats win 17-14. All right. I got you, Minnesota. I hear that. Well, I take that back. We don't have the Michigan Panthers anymore. They're relocating. Wait. Now you got me confused here, Jay. Michigan Panthers. Oh, wait. Is that the UFL? Oh, that's right. They played Ford Field. Is the UFL still around? Wait, I got to go back. Bio, greetings. Please don't trade green to the Lakers. Oh, I'd be shocked. Yes, I know you hate the color green. Well, I don't know, right? You're talking about this LeBron and LeBron. Listen, they say LeBron's not moving anywhere. And all those rumors about him going to Golden State. Could you imagine LeBron for Draymond Green? Oh, man. Even I wouldn't want that. Hey, look at the leprechaun. I'm surprised you posted that up there, Bio. Yeah, he'd only go because of the money. But, yeah, I don't even know who else would go in that deal. Well, I think the first one would be Jimmy Butler's contract because it would be an expiring next year, despite the fact he's not going to play until next January, you would think. But, yeah, we'll see. 3 o'clock tomorrow is the deadline. No, we don't want that. I wanted this. Minnesota Fats, Olivia Rodrigo, are you a fan? Yeah, I know she has that song. What's the song? Driver's License, I guess. That was her popular song. Yeah, music today I just can't get into. In all genres, except for the couple of genres that I like. It's more like lounge, chill. I've mentioned I do like Tame Impala, Satin Jackets. They're DJs. They play more like not even EDM, like Satin Jackets, Cascade, Rufus Du Sol. They play good vibe music. I mean, it's just vibes. That's what I'm about. Anything that's out now in rap, anything that's out now, even in rock. And I know Tame Impala is they're psychedelic. They're not really indie, but they have like an indie sound, which I like. But yeah, other than groups like that, I mean, geez, no one in rap, no one in R&B, no one in pop music, no Sabrina Carpenter, no, please, you know my saying, and that's not to say they're not talented, or whatever, but the music does nothing for me, zero. There's a 3-horse race. Giannis, the Warriors reportedly pushed all the chips. Well, yeah, they're trying to get a championship. That's for sure. No, yeah, no, right. But the thing is that he's got one more year left on his deal, and it's an expiring contract, which is always valuable. So that's the only reason why I brought him up. Yes, Bio. And 1 week until pitchers and catchers. Yeah. Listen, even with the Mets and his moves, I got to be excited. I mean, how could I not? Yes. And also this Fishing Angel, never have? Animal Planet. Now, the thing is, you guys don't have cable, I don't believe. I'm sure you could stream it. Maybe it's on YouTube. They probably have old episodes on YouTube. Yeah, Puppy Bowl, and they put it on a loop. I think they start at 2 o'clock. It's every 2 hours. So it's like 2 to 4, 4 to 6, and they play it through the game. So, yeah, if you want, you can turn your attention to halftime. If not to me on Super Bowl Sunday, go to yes, it is. Very much so. You'll get a kick out of it. And the great thing about that is those dogs, no, maybe they every couple hours. Yeah, I think they probably rotate. So let's say they do a 2 to 4, 4 to 6. I don't think it's live, but those puppies and even the kitties, when they do the kitty halftime, you can actually adopt them, which is even better. So, Robert, maybe Drake Raider Pages have it. Oh, that'd be great. That was actually the anniversary, I believe. Well, it passed, of course, it was last month in January, but it is the 40th anniversary of the 85 Bears. And to think, the Patriots had a 3-0 lead in that game before the Bears just obliterated them. Yes, I'm hoping that is the case. Oh, you just watched on YouTube. So there you go, Fishing Angel. Yeah, at least you got that for your Sunday as opposed to watching 100 hours of pregame stuff. UFL still around, just read Michigan fans. Oh, I didn't know that. And, of course, they're going to Columbus, Ohio. Yeah, that sucks. I mean, it's like they could have relocated anywhere in the country, but they had to go there. Joe Lake of Owners Warrior. Yeah, he's usually at the games. Absolutely. I just showed a YouTube video of it. Now I get to watch it Sunday. Well, it's only for that day, J-Rod. And I think Knicks and Celtics are the first game. I think they're only playing one game on ABC. Yeah, it's just for Sunday. But listen, it could be, what is it? Hawaii 5-0 or NCIS. No, CSI, right? And, of course, I kid Fishing Angel, but I know those are your shows. Victor, I'll get your comment in a second. Good to see you, my man. Hold on a second. What is Minnesota Fats? Boom. Should the Mets bring back? Yeah, I would say bring back, excuse me. I'd say bring back Marte. He's a better bat. And he'd be a fourth outfielder. What is Marte, 36, 37? And I know Iglesias is up there too, but Iglesias was part of that team 2 years ago where I mean, the core of that team is gone. And what did he do last year for San Diego? He did nothing. So I would say Marte would be the guy. If you ask me, and I'm sure he's still available. He's still out there. Victor, what is happening? Yeah, first of all, I can't believe I'm friends with a Steeler fan. Hey, I appreciate that. You know that. I appreciate you. Came out to give you the customary like talk soon. Absolutely. Fist bump there. Sorry if I scared people with the fist bump there right in the lens, but thanks, Victor, for stopping by there from SoCal. All right, let me now get to the next thing. And yeah, we'll talk about this. This will be a two-pronged attack. So James Harden gets traded. I know we talked about the Jaden Ivey deal. Jaren Jackson, that was a shock too. I know John Morant was to be rumored. Why they traded Jackson to Utah, I don't know. You also had the Celtics trade Anthony Simons for Vucevic, Nikola Vucevic, which I liked. Which also makes me think that Jason Tatum could be on the way back this year. I understand he's a guy who's 6'9", could shoot the three, could rebound. Not a good defender, shock. But I don't know. Something tells me I think Tatum's going to come back. And that just adds a little bit more depth at the position. But as far as the deadline, it is tomorrow at 3. And we already talked about whether Giannis or Draymond Green. I don't know. I don't know if Giannis is going to go anywhere. I would not be surprised if Draymond Green stays put. Hopefully he doesn't go to the Lakers, as suggested by Bio. But this James Harden thing, and I understand that this was probably more mutual or maybe more the front office approaching James Harden to say, how about if we get you to a team that could win? And he agreed because I know in his interview in a post-game, or not even post-game, but trying to think of exactly what he said. He said that I didn't come to them, and I'm paraphrasing, I didn't come to them. We just thought that this would be the best thing for both of us. I want to win. They know that, blah, blah, blah. And he's going to Cleveland. Well, unless all of a sudden you realize that in a 7-game series, whether to close out series in game 7s or stay alive in game 6s or to not go down 3-2 in game 5s, you could show up. And that's not a personal knock. That is a universal for those who watch basketball and follow it, because we all know James Harden is not a big-time player in the postseason, especially when his team needs him. And if I'm the Cavaliers, yeah, I wouldn't like it. And that's pretty much what to add. And as far as any of the teams that are going to look for players, yeah, I think LeBron and even Giannis, I would be surprised if they get shipped. Maybe not so much Giannis, because that's been a lot of the talk here over the last few weeks. But you'll probably see a lot of small deals. I don't think you're going to see a blockbuster or a big-time deal. And listen, I understand if Giannis is going to get traded, that's going to be newsworthy headlines. But, yeah, I don't know if I see Giannis moving here at this point. Remember, he's nursing that calf injury. And, yeah, I don't know who else would go in that trade. I mean, if Draymond Green goes to the Bucks for Giannis, and I would think that they probably have to send another player to the Warriors. Yeah, I think it's just too much at this stage. And I don't know what kind of trades we're going to get here. Who knows? Watch us get shocking trades that we didn't expect teams to deal with. So, yeah, and listen, as far as Harden, it's nothing personal. It's just business when it comes to his play and so on and so forth. Let's see. Titans are now officially signed Gus Bradley to be defensive coordinator. Yes. Gus Bradley. I know he's on Jacksonville. He's former Niner. I guess. I mean, listen. Robert Saleh. I mean, listen, we know he's a good. We think that Gus Bradley's good defensively. Now I know he went to Jacksonville and stunk up the joint, but definitely gonna watch Puppy Bowl. Nice. When the Super Bowl starts, watch Super Bowl. All right, I can see that. Don't want Draymond Green. Wow. I like that take there. Yeah, I don't know if he likes to misbehave more so than he likes to show that he has a chip on his shoulder and he wants to show people that how tough he is. But yeah, I hear you. If I was you too, Val, I'd want him out also. Oh yeah, no, I'm very familiar with Gus Bradley. Is that over the comments? Yeah. Bio. I remember that was the lingerie. Was that the LFL, I guess, the Lingerie Football League? I remember it. I couldn't even tell you who played in it. So, but no, but it's funny you say that because didn't they try to do a halftime show at one point? Lingerie Bowl. And when was the last time? They haven't done that in years, have they? Gus Bradley used to be a former coach. Yep. Yeah, Gus again was in Jacksonville, so that was his claim to fame down there. All right, now why isn't this working? All right, before I get to my next topic, I do want to. Should I get into this now? No, I'll save it. But the NHL, when the schedule came out, and it was the first time that the NHL players going back to the Olympics. Tomorrow's the last slate of games, and you're not going to see the NHL for what? I believe it's 20 days, if I'm not mistaken, because the Olympics are 17, and you got to have the players to travel back. I know that the NHL right now, we talked a little bit about Detroit, Tampa. We know the year Colorado's having. Carolina's in first place as expected. Islanders have overachieved. We know about Toronto, severely, vastly underachieved to go along with the Florida Panthers. But yeah, NHL, as I talk about on the podcast, they go off into the clouds. And now how they bounce back, it's not like it's a thing where they've never played in the Olympics, so therefore it's like, it's going to be strange. But yeah, I'd be curious to see how these teams perform once the league is back up, once everybody's acclimated to their teams, and then now you have a situation where it's like you're a team that's they're playing for your playoff lives or just trying to play out the string, etc. But yeah, it's not like we haven't seen this before, but it's going to feel like it's the first time around the block because to go without hockey for 25 days, and we're going to get to that dead zone in the sports world, which will be next week. And you're actually going to have a stretch in the middle of February where all you're going to have is college basketball. You're not going to have, obviously, the NFL. They're going to be long gone. You're not going to have the NBA because of their All-Star break coming up, and you're not going to have the NHL. So what am I going to talk about in those couple of weeks? Well, you're about to find out, so you got to stay tuned for that. But the NHL, I'll put up the standings real quick. So, yeah. So, you have Tampa 76, Red Wings 72, then Buffalo, Montreal, both with 70, tied in third. And then the Bruins after that. Maple Leafs, can they make a charge? And then you have Carolina. What is that? Blue Jackets. Yeah, Blue Jackets, Capitals. And then out west, yeah, I mean, it's same old, people. How about Colorado? They didn't lose for almost 3 months, it seems, and now they've lost 3 of the last 4. And all those games are regulation. And obviously the last one, back-to-back, you're Red Wings there. Jay and Fishing Angel. 2-0, 5-0. No, I'm sorry. I take that back. That was the game. I know the Saturday game you guys went to. 7-3, 5-2, 2-0. Yeah, I mean, they lost 3 games of regulation. And actually, they've actually lost 5 of the last 7. No, let's go even further back. Yeah, after that long stretch, let's see. 2, 1-4, 2-4, 2-6, 3-7. Then you have Minnesota. And they're now 5 points behind them, the Wild. You wonder if that trade for Quinn Hughes, how much that's been a big lift. Dallas at 75, and then Vegas, Edmonton, Anaheim. And Vegas lost 5 in a row. Yeah, that is your NHL. I mean, I wish there was more to add there, people, but I do not have much else. All right, let's get to the next topic, because I'll be curious to hear what you guys and gals have to say about this. And I'll get your comments after this. This is a quick topic right here. So, how do you feel about, is anybody going to sit and watch? Are they going to watch the skiing? I'm sure the people here are going to watch the hockey. Figure skating, of course, that's always a big draw. I don't know if anybody's going to watch curling or the bobsled. What other? I'm missing a few others. Bobsled. Yeah, I guess that's about it off the top of my head. I know everybody wants to watch the skiing, the figure skating, and the hockey. That's what's going to carry the mail. If you don't know, you will soon know. Yeah, I'm not a big Olympic guy. I'm more so summer, but even then, it's not like I'm with bated breath at the edge of my seat to see what's happening in track and field or in beach volleyball or anything like that. Gymnastics. Sad to say, unless it's going to be something earth-shattering or something that I really absolutely positively have to watch. I mean, think about this. The opening ceremony is Friday night, NBC, but they also have the Super Bowl. So I guess they're going to show whatever events on Peacock. Or no, I think they're showing what's called on Peacock, the Super Bowl as well. So I don't even know. Do the Olympics take a day off? I mean, because really, who's going to watch that? But I can tell you this. Maybe, because it's going to be a slow sports period, maybe I'll watch some of it. But right now, if I miss it, I'm not missing much. I'm not. I kind of hate to pile on the Winter Olympics, but it's true. And even in the cold Northeast and days where you're indoors and, let's see who's going up against so-and-so in the speed skating or in the figure skating or anything like that. Listen, Winter Olympics have never been for me. And I never really, even the Summer Olympics to a certain extent. And with the Summer Olympics, which obviously is not for another 2 years, but it's the guy and you want to talk about storylines. I mean, I couldn't even tell you. I know Lindsey Vonn, the knee injury, et cetera, but yeah, I just can't get into it. I don't care who it is. And the thing is, on top of all that, is because it's 2.5 weeks, like once it's gone, that's it. When the Super Bowl's gone, it could be in the middle of summer. You're going to think, oh, yeah, the Seahawks blew out the Patriots, or the Patriots hung in there and won the Super Bowl. You're going to remember that forever. 2 years from now, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, who won the gold in women's figure skating? You're going to be, I forgot. I don't know. That's not to knock the competition. That's not to knock the athletes, et cetera, but that is what it is, and that's why I don't really follow it or watch it from that regard. All right, why is it? Oh, here we go. Waiting for these comments to pop up. And all right, I went too far back. All right, Jay, hold on. All right, here we go. Bio likes the luge. And J-Rod the snowboarding. Shaun White, he was actually in Central Park the day of the storm, which is about 7.5 miles from here. Oh, I see a heat wave. Hang on. Sharks have been struggling in 6th place. Yeah, they have struggled a little bit. Yep, place 3 Ducks, I believe, or third place Ducks. Celebrini. Yep, which is good for him. Got a heat wave back. So the heat wave is what, 45 degrees? Because that's what it'd be in New York. And in fact, a 30-degree day, as I'm reading all your comments, in fact, a 30-degree day kind of feels like a 60-degree day, especially here, considering the way the weather's been over the last few weeks. Bio likes a luge. All right, here we go. Should the GM I know, what's his name brought that up the other day? Justin Jefferson, the wide receiver. I mean, you can't. They looked at J.J. McCarthy as a guy that was the future, a guy that was going to be able to put forth a good career. Year one, very uneven. Injuries, erratic play. I can only hope for the Viking fans. I got a couple of them in my life where they would think or even feel that, oh, we should have kept Sam Darnold. Well, hindsight's 2020. What if Darnold had a bad year and the Seahawks didn't make the postseason? People be like, oh, thank God he's not on our team anymore. So, yeah, that's what I see with the GM. You like the luge? Yeah, it's not too bad. Anyone ever seen a movie? I believe so. Wait, that's yeah, Cool Runnings. Yeah, I've seen. Oh, many years ago, I've seen that. But yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it is. It is a Disney movie. I think the wife saw it too. Do I watch that again? I'm over here thinking like, do I need to see this again? No. But let's see. Yeah, Cool Running. Who was in that too, by the way? I couldn't even tell you that's how long ago it is. Is it Mario Joyner? I don't remember. 30 to 40 degrees. That is summer-like, considering for this time of year. Hockey and snowboarding. Yeah, I could get into the snowboarding. I guess I could get into that, but even still. In the hockey, hockey I'll get on top of. See who comes out with the gold. They're in Milano, Italy. All right, let's see what else I have here. I talked about this earlier. 1 week away. Oh, can we all well, we rejoice at that time. How about that? But yeah, as far as the baseball stuff, there really isn't much. Hold on. There isn't a lot that's happening from the standpoint. There we go, MLB. Yeah, I tell you, let me go back to the screen here before I pull that up. As much as I'm looking forward to baseball, I can't say that I'm ready for it because we're still in February. When we get to next month and you can smell conference tournaments and Selection Sunday, and the tournament begins on Tuesday with the play-in, and then Wednesday, and then obviously the tournament in earnest on Thursday. Yeah, I'm not getting the vibe of a baseball season just yet. And I know there's been a flurry of activity recently. Eugenio Suarez and the Mets wheeling and dealing the Bo Bichette's. And I get that. But yeah, as much as as much as I'm anticipating it and looking forward to it, I can't say that, yeah, start the games now. I could say that to get to the end of March. But you know what? I don't want to rush time. I don't want to hit the fast forward button on time to get to opening day. Yeah, many years ago I did think that, but But we'll see. We'll see if watch next week. I'll be pumped up and ready to go as if the season was beginning, as opposed to it being 1 week away. All right, let's see what we got here. John Candy. Duolingo. I got to get up on that too. Oh, Dougie Doug. Good one there, Bio. Yeah, Dougie Doug was also in a movie that I liked that I met the director many years ago and actually hung out in his apartment in the West Village. And I understand it was a small independent movie from New Line Cinema called Hanging with the Homeboys. John Leguizamo's in it. Dougie Doug is in it. As well as Nestor Serrano's been in a bunch of like small roles, like cops and things like that. He was in the original Bad Boys movie. Well, not the one 1982 with Sean Penn, the original Martin Lawrence and Will Smith movie. But yes, Dougie Doug, Cool Runnings. Good one there, Bio. Let's see what else I have. So, and I got some news. Big news, which I should have shared at the top. Not necessarily the news, but as a teaser. But here's my teaser. I got to get a refill. So if you want to hang tight with me for a second, I'm just going to go right there to the big box and get some water. But yes, I got some news. And I'm going to experiment. No, not with drugs. I'm sure you hear the E word experiment and you're probably thinking, wait a minute. What is J Reels going to do? So, cheers. Ready for this? Don't fall out of your seat. Now, you saw it in the title, so I can't say that that's a secret, but I'm going to do a podcast pivot. What I mean by that, and hear me out, people. My podcast pivot, I'm probably going to do for the month of February. And I understand it may not be a great month to do it, but because it's going to be slow and downtime, not downtime for me, but downtime in the sports world, that it's a good opportunity for me to not only have the podcast put it out as I've done years past, but here's where the experiment comes in. I'm going to do it live. So my podcast pre-games, which you'll get tomorrow at 9:30, as you know, or not, between 9:30 and 9:45, because I usually take the wife to the train with all the snow. Excuse me. So, and that's where doing a live show, and I'll be honest, when I do my recorded podcasts, it's very little, if not no editing. It's literally one take. And if there are times where you do see editing, like if you see a break, like if I'm talking, if I'm doing this, where, I can't believe the Mets traded, and then I had to pause because the dog barked or somebody's at the door, and then it picks up with my hands down, or they say up, where you see that break, and it's like, I can't believe they traded that person or that player. Yeah, usually it's almost as if it's live because it's very rarely edited. But I figured to do a live stream of the podcast because what I will do is I'll have the video. It'll already be posted on the YouTube channel. And then I will extract the audio and then post that on my website so it could go out to Apple, Spotify, etc. And what I would do is during the live, I'll do it just like a normal podcast. If you have questions, comments, etc., have them. But I'll probably have to wait to the end of the segment to do it. Or I'm actually contemplating reading all the comments, questions, etc., at the very end of the podcast. And what I mean by that is this. Because let's say I have it formatted for Monday. It'll be obviously Super Bowl, NBA, I guess, Olympics. Not much really going to happen in the Olympics. And I may not even talk Olympics. Something otherworldly is going to have to happen. Like somebody's breaking records, then I'll talk about it. Whatever, baseball. So let's say I do the Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. This what happened, so on and so forth. So instead of going right to the comments, I'll go, all right, now I'm going to lace up my high tops and go to the association, talk some NBA. After that, lace up the skates, NHL. After that, get in the batter's box, baseball. Let me talk some Winter Olympics. Something came up over the weekend that I got to discuss. And then after that, before I usually do my sign off on the podcast, I'll be like, all right, for the questions, comments, let's see what we got. And then we'll go back and forth. So what I'm trying to do is that first hour, I'll do podcast related stuff. And then in the second hour, or it may bleed past the first hour, let's say an hour and 10 or an hour and 15 tops. In the last 45 minutes, I'll read the comments, go through that, and that'll be the podcast. So I'm going to do my Monday, Thursday. I will confirm the time, halftime of Super Bowl Sunday. So I'll give you a time then. It's probably going to be 10 a.m. Eastern. I may do 10:30. I don't know, but I'm going to start with 10 Eastern. But I'll confirm that Sunday for sure. And obviously Sunday we'll talk about the first half, whatever. And maybe I'll hop on board at the end. I mean, if the game's a blowout or whatever, you'll just get one of my shorts on the channel. But if it is close, if it's a nail biter or a controversial call, I'll jump on for a few minutes to do a live stream. But that's what I'm thinking. And I'm thinking about the month of February as a test run to see how it's going to go. So it's not etched in stone. It's not like, oh, no, the podcast is going to be live from here on out, because I want to see how it's going to go. And because we're going into that Sports Dead Zone Part 1, I think it'd be perfect to kind of uncover and unwrap how a live podcast will be. And listen, I understand that this is kind of like a live podcast, but it's going to be a lot more structured, because if I see 20 or 30 comments, I try to go through all the comments, which obviously interrupts. It doesn't interrupt the live stream, but it will interrupt a podcast flow, because let's just say with the Super Bowl, if there's something controversial, is there something that is going to be worth talking about? And then here it is. I talk about the game, whatever, and then I get into a half hour worth of comments. Yeah, at that point, NBA, NHL, baseball, whatever else that's going to come down the pike may get compromised, because I'm trying to fit it all in a podcast window to where, all right, I'm going to start off with the NFL, blah, 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 Super Bowl. All right, now I'm going to go to the NHL, now I'm going to go to NBA, and so on. Where I'd rather do that and have my podcast format, and then at the end, I'll say, all right, Minnesota, what do you say? Oh, look at that, or J-Rod, or Bio, or Fishing Angel, or Val, or Orange, or Toppers, or Victor, you know the deal. So keep that in mind, and we'll talk about it more Sunday during halftime. See the comments. Oh, how did I miss this? Oh, you did see this buyout. Yeah, no, that was really good. Hour and a half. Easy watch. Funny. John Leguizamo. Absolutely. Yeah, the guy who directed it, his name is Joseph Vasquez. And yes, Val, hi. And he's all smiles and he's happy today. That's good. And I hope everybody else is feeling good, feeling happy as well. I mean, we're sure we're all alive and breathing. So obviously that's we're winning in that regard. But yeah, as far as this movie, this came out in 1991, and I understand it may not be on everybody's radar. But yeah, the director is Joseph Vasquez, and true story. November 1st, 1992. No, wait, I take that back. That was November 2nd, 1992, because it was after a regular season game, the day after when the Steelers beat the Oilers in Pittsburgh. I know. Why do I remember that? It's because of that. And it was a rainy night, and the director invited me over to his house because I met him at a movie premiere. And if you don't know, now you know. One of the reasons why I got the nickname J Reels was from an old friend of mine, Rich Rodriguez, who's still my buddy. I've known him over 40 years. And we were doing a lot of location shoots, because at once upon a time I had written a couple of screenplays and I wanted to get into film as much as I love sports. But obviously back then, if you had a camera, camcorder, film stuff, I did a lot of public access stuff, and I did record 2 short films or direct 2 short films. But that's how I got the name, because he called me J Reels with the Z at the end, because with the S, it just doesn't, J Reels, even though it's a film reel. So that's where I got the nickname. So at the time when I was going to movie premieres and things of that nature, and I met the director and went to his place, he had a nice apartment. Shoot, it was I don't even know if it was a penthouse. I think it was a penthouse in the West Village. And he actually gave me a copy of, and I have it, it's in storage somewhere. And if I dig it out, as I'm going to the in-laws, maybe I'll dig it out, take a picture, and I'll post it on my social media or something. Yeah, it's one of those boxes. Jeez, I got to go digging for it. But anyway, and yeah, it was just a cool time telling me Hollywood stories, whatever, so on and so forth. But unfortunately for him, he had a very untimely demise because he hung out with certain characters and then he contracted HIV and got AIDS and he died of AIDS in 95. So, yeah, that's that story. I know a little bit morbid and a little bit off the cuff, different path, but because bringing up the movie, it just made me think about him and so on and so forth. I know it's not sports related, my apologies, but it was an experience. So I just thought to share. But besides that, people, anything, let's see. Anything else pop up here over the last whatever? Mavs Raptors active in 80 trade talks. Oh, Mickey Lolich died, I see. Yeah, Mickey Lolich, 68 World Series. Also was pitched for the Mets, left-hander, 76 for the 76 Mets. But Lolich, yeah, was part of that winning team. Denny McClain was on it last pitcher to win 30 games in a season. 85 years of age. Sorry to hear that. Thoughts, prayers, condolences go out to the Lolich family, Tigers, etc. Raptors. Could you imagine? Now, Nico Harrison is no longer there. Can we talk about this for a second? Who's going to be part of this deal? I'm curious. Mavs also engaged in discussions with Daniel Gafford. The guy's always hurt, though. Raptors and Hawks. And the Raptors have had a good year. And they would want to get Anthony Davis. I mean, the guy's never healthy. Well, I will say this. I understand there's a new GM there. Nico Harrison's not there anymore, and they probably want to get rid of him. I would think for 20 cents on the dollar at this point. And I don't know how much Anthony Davis, what he has left on his deal. Is he in the last year of his contract? I mean, if he gets a contract next year, it's not going to be much. He's not getting Anthony Davis contract. Let's have fun with this. With Dallas or extension. He's under contract through 27-28. Wow, he still has 2 more years left on that deal? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, and it was an extension that he got. $62 million a year, 3 for $186. And he'll be an unrestricted free agent in 2028. Forget about it. I mean, by then, he's already laughing to the bank. Yeah, I'll get to that bio. I see that comment. That's pretty funny. Yeah, let me get that comment off. You know what? Let me go back to, what was that, NBA trade deadline? James Harden. I'll do that for a second before I get your comment bio. Oh, man, I talked about this the other day. That trade, no need to rehash it, go down that road, but they're going to trade Anthony Davis a little over a year after that deal. And I understand the guy, he's done nothing for him. Nothing. He's may have had a couple of good games, but let's call it as we see it. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, and I believe he deserves that. But Anthony Davis, you're not going to see that guy, the dominant Anthony Davis, that guy's gone. He's gone. And what is he, 32 years of age? We know the career he's had. And these injuries just keep cropping up. He's not getting any healthier. He's not going to get any better. And Toronto, like, why would you even roll the dice on him at this point? They're what is Toronto? They're 30. I know they're a couple games behind the Celtics and Knicks. The Raptors are 3 games behind them. They're 30-21. They've certainly overachieved this year. I mean, how? Listen, and that guy, why would the Raptors do that? Why would the Raptors even think? Knowing they got to assume all that money. And let me think, who do they have? Now, I know they signed some players, but yeah, they're going to keep Scotty Barnes. They're going to keep, if anything, considering he could get bought out, and I understand he could be a little long in the tooth. If I'm the Raptors, why not bring back DeMar DeRozan? I think DeRozan on that team would be a whole hell of a lot better than Anthony Davis. And I did see this about DeRozan, right? Let me make sure my eyes aren't deceiving me. Yeah, no buyout talks for Kings and DeRozan. All right, so they say no buyout. Following a report that mentioned DeRozan as a strong possibility to become a buyout candidate in the next month, league sources have said there hasn't been any discussions. DeRozan in the second season of a 3-year contract signed summer 2024. He's owed $25.7 next year. And $10 million of it is guaranteed. And I get it. He's costly maybe next year because he's going to be in the final year of a contract. So when you have an expiring contract, but I understand it's for this year. If I'm the Raptors, I don't care if you're bringing Anthony Davis back in a time capsule. If it is a time capsule, it's his second or third year in the league. And I get it, in 2020 he was healthy in the bubble when they won the championship for the Lakers. But I am not by any means, unless I know he is not 100, not 500, 1,000% healthy. And of course, you can't guarantee that. So, yeah, I would not do that. All right, let me get to Bios' comment. Mark Aguirre, yes, he did. He was so hood. Yeah, Aguirre. And he was so hood or he was really good. Yes, he could be hood too. Yeah, Aguirre was from DePaul. He was a guy that, yeah, he could score, was fearless. Traded for Adrian Dantley, if you remember, when the Pistons were going for their 2 titles. And Dantley was a good scorer. Utah, then went to Detroit. Oh, I see your next one too. Yeah, Aguirre was a very good player. Good offensive player. Solid scorer. And I hated Derek Harper, but I liked Aguirre and Orlando Blackman for those Mavs teams. Oh, yeah, they were 80s old school players. And I got a few on the top of my list, which I'll share with you, which you would certainly get a kick out of. Yeah, when Derek Harper was traded to the Knicks, I couldn't stand him. I couldn't stand Derek Harper. But he was a hard-nosed guy, could make a 3, good defender, was perfect for those Knicks teams there in the 90s, especially Riley's Knicks with Anthony Mason, John Starks, Charles Oakley, because they were a rugged team. They were a tough team. Yeah, I couldn't stand Derek Harper on those teams. But, yeah, those 80s players, I got some players for you. Players that, and think about this, players that recorded quadruple doubles. Not even just triple doubles. There's a guy that played for the Denver Nuggets, Lafayette Lever, a.k.a. Fat Lever. That guy had a lot of triple doubles for that time. I understand not everybody's could record a triple double. But he was a guy that had quadruple doubles, which would be points, assists, rebounds, steals, or blocks. Let's see. Fat Lever. Quadruple doubles. Yeah. He may have had a couple. Fat Lever never recorded. Oh, he came close. Wait, hold on. Yeah, he never came. I thought he actually had one. Well, his near quadruple double. It wasn't as near as it looks. 31, 16, 12, and 6. Alvin Robertson, I remember. He's another guy. Alvin Robertson also had, I believe he had a quadruple double. He was the other guy I was going to go to. Alvin Robertson is the only NBA player to record a quadruple double featuring steals. He did it in February 18th, almost the anniversary. That's 2 weeks from today, in fact. 40 years. He did it February 18, 86, 20, 11, 10, and 10. San Antonio. There wasn't anybody doing it in the playoffs. I know Tim Duncan almost did so in a game 6. Tim Duncan, game 6 against the Nets. 6 stats versus Nets, NBA Finals. Yeah, I believe, off the top of my head, before I even pull this up, and that was the game that Kenyon Martin, I think, was shot 3 for 23. He was awful in the game. Duncan, I believe, was 22, 20, 10, and 8 or something. 8 blocks. Let's see. Ready? He was 21, 20, 10. No, but I got to get the And the final score, that's when the NBA, that's why the NBA is explosive now. Now, get it. This game was what? 23 years ago? The final score was 88-77. Oof. And they won in 6. But here are the numbers. Duncan, how many blocks? 8 blocks. He was 20, 21, 20, 10, and 8. Almost a quadruple double in the game. And then Kenyon Martin, 3 for 23, 6 points. Yeah, that is a brutal game. And the thing with Kenyon Martin, if he's not dunking the ball or putbacks, no outside shot. I don't want to get on Kenyon Martin, but remember, he was the number 1 overall pick, though, in 2000 out of Cincinnati, Bearcat. Oh, Fishing Angel, thank you. Appreciate you. You know that. Bio. But that was a really good basketball player back in the 70s. Oh, did he really? Wow. That's awesome, Bio. And I know you said, aren't you 6'1", 6'2"? So did he play guard? Was he taller? I'm curious. Oh, and he played like Adrian Dantley. And Dantley had a lot of moves. Dantley was a very good offensive player. Yeah, he was on those Utah teams before he got traded to Detroit with Darryl Griffith. Remember him? Dr. Duncanstein out of Louisville. Mark Eaton. Rest in peace. Who else were on those teams? Yeah, that was before Stockton Malone. That's how far back Dantley went. But interesting. I like that. But yeah, quadruple doubles. But the players in the 80s, listen, besides, and the thing is, the 80s had players, forget about the Birds, the Magics, the Kareems. Those are Isaiah. Those are layups. There were the other players, the guys that you didn't really, that you knew they were good, but you didn't really see them that often, like Lafayette Lever. T.R. Dunn was also on that team. That was Doug Moe, the Nuggets. They had a high-flying team. Alex English was on that team. Kiki Vandeweghe. You had, let me see, those players in the 80s. Oh, I got to pull up the teams. And mind you, there was no Miami Heat. The Timberwolves and all, they came in the late 80s. Well, they were part of the 80s, but let me see. Who else? If I go through the teams, because I'm drawing blanks off the top of my head. Bulls teams, like before, like Quentin Daly and Orlando Woolridge, both of those guys, I believe. Daly, I don't think is no longer with us. I think he's also rest in peace too. I know Woolridge is, but the Buck team, Sidney Moncrief, Junior Bridgman, Jack Sikma from the Seattle Supersonics, Tom Chambers. Oh, I can go through the list of these guys. Rockets, of course. Well, when he was Hakeem before he became Hakeem Olajuwon, Ralph Sampson. I'm just trying to think. If I go through these teams. Milwaukee. San Antonio, George Gervin, ABA. I know that documentary of the ABA is coming out. I think it's on Prime, which I would like to see. ABA, that was the Indiana Pacers. That was the New York Nets at the time when they played in Long Island. The Virginia Squires. That's when Julius played on those teams before he went to the Nets. The St. Louis Spirits. Denver Nuggets. I say the Pacers, Indiana Pacers. Yeah, those are the ABA teams. Yeah, ABA, and had the red, white, and blue ball. I'd be interested to see that. The Cavaliers, players in the 80s for the Cavs. Mark Price, Brad Daugherty, John Hot Rod Williams. Oh, yeah, NBA in the 80s were great. Then the 90s with all the hand checking, they took that away, of course. But those games, like I gave you that score. And that was sort of tail end. But those finals games, 88-77. And I remember that second. Hold on. That Piston. Spurs series, Pistons, Spurs 2005. I remember the final scores of those games were brutal. Let me see. Can I pull those up real quick? Yeah, here are the scores of these games. You remember that? This is 2005. And this is where the league changed. Now, I know the hand checking was already out at that time, but it wasn't until later on when it's just been a free-for-all. Obviously, with the shot clock, if they recover the ball with 14 seconds left, so you can get quick shots, and then, of course, the three-point. Back then, you had three-point shooters, but it's not like the way it is today. This is Pistons Spurs. I just throw this out there, and then if anything, I could land this plane. Obviously, it's slow other than the football and all that. So, and listen, not to bring up bad memories to you, Jay, I'm sure, now that I think about that, and Fishing Angel. Game 1, Spurs won 84-69. Game 2, Spurs won 97-76. Game 3, Pistons 96-79. I remember Game 4 was a blowout. Now, I know 96-79, but I think this was a bad score. Let me see. Yeah, Pistons 102. Spurs 71. Game 5, that was the Ori shot. 96-95 in overtime. And then Game 6, Pistons won. They were down 3-2, remember. They won Game 6, 95-86. And then Game 7, Spurs won 81-74. And then Game 6, Nets, Spurs, 88-77. Wow, has the NBA come a long way? I understand it's regular season, but here are the regular season scores from last night in particular. Last night. Detroit 124, Denver 121, Utah 131, 122, Knicks 132, Washington 101. I mean, if you score below 100, it's like, what's going on? Orlando scored 92 last night, but they got blown out by OKC. Golden State blown out at home. Sorry, Val. 113-94. Phoenix 130, Portland 125. And here I'm talking finals games with scores in the 70s. Insane. Oh, your dad was a power forward. Those free throw shooting contests in California. Wow, really? What? Lost to a one-armed kid? Wow, that's crazy. I get rid of the three-point line. Yeah, you could. But see, the problem is that's a good one, Minnesota Fats. You could, and you can't extend it because then you have the side. The side three is always the same. You can't extend that, to the bench? I understand you could get the perimeter. You could stretch that out. But to me, I think it'll become gimmicky. Just go back to the way the game was played. Inside out instead of outside in. Or outside in instead of inside out. You know what I mean? Have the big man back in the game. But they're not going to do that. That's the same in baseball where they're not going to put the emphasis on putting the ball in play or making contact, not striking out. The analytics are going to tell you it's about exit velo, it's about launch angle, it's about the home run and OPS. It's not about batting average. It's not about getting the runner over, making the timely hit. No, everything is let's get a walk, a single, and a 3-run homer. And I think the three-point line is good, but they just, because of, I don't want to just blame it on him, but because of the prowess of Steph Curry and what he's done as far as his influence to the game, I mean, that's it. I mean, come on. You have Victor Wembanyama. The guy's 7'4", he's taking threes. He should be playing in the low block with his back to the basket, abusing people. But there's so many players now that are 6'9" above that shoot threes. And that's the problem. And there's nothing wrong with being versatile and having a big man shoot threes like that, but please, there was no such thing as three-point shots when Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain and Kareem. I understand later on when when did it come in? 79, 80, I believe it was. And remember, the NBA adopted a three-point shot from where? The ABA. ABA had the three-point shot. And the ABA, what was it, 75, 76 was the last year? Because I think the ABA was only around for 3-4 years. Let me look that up real quick. Yeah, it's not as if the ABA was around for 20 years. How long was the ABA around? Yeah, I'm curious to watch that documentary. Oh, it was longer than that. It was 9 years. Yeah, for some reason I thought it was 4 years, like 71, 72 to 75, 76. Which would have been 5 years when you think about it. But yeah, when they brought the 4 teams, the Spurs were the other team I forgot about. They were in the ABA. Yeah, established in 67. Directly competed with the NBA, introducing innovations like the three-point line and the red, white, and blue ball. And ceased operations in 76, merging with the NBA, the teams we mentioned. And yeah, the ABA. And Julius, players like Artis Gilmore were in the ABA. George McGinnis, who was a big-time player in the ABA with Indiana. Bobby Jones from the 76ers played, I believe, with Virginia Squires as well. That guy was a great defensive player, number 24. Other ABA players. David Thompson with the Nuggets, NC State. Who else? ABA, geez. I gotta think about that. I know there's a few more that I'm missing, some other players that right now at the top of my head I can't recall. Darryl Dawkins, I believe, is not in the ABA. Or Moses Malone for that matter. But yeah, that's the ABA for you, for those who don't know. But yeah, people, that's what I got. If there's anything else that's come down the pike here, now's your last chance to get at me. Yeah, we know about that. Washington Post eliminates sports department. I mean, listen, does anybody buy a newspaper anymore, let alone read it? Everything's online this day and age, as you all know. All right, my good people, that will just about wrap it up. Any last comments, any last thoughts, whatever it is on your mind. Brandon, what is happening? What is going on? Welcome aboard. How you doing? I'm about to wrap up. Anything that's on your mind, now's a chance. Who the hell said get rid of the three-point line? My guy Minnesota Fats here? Only because I see where he's coming from, though. It's been abused and overused. Uh-oh. Bio, who always got just traded to the Wizards. If I had to guess for who, what big contract's going back? All right. Yeah, because you know a big contract's got to go back. Yeah, here it is. Oh, my God. It's 1 million players. Shams on top of it, as always. Dallas Mavericks are trading 10-time NBA All-Star Anthony Davis, Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, Dante Exum to the Wizards for Chris Middleton, A.J. Johnson, Malachi Branham, Marvin Bagley, 2 first-round picks. Wow. All I could say is this about this trade: how the mighty have fallen. And listen, that's to no fault of Anthony Davis. It's just Father Time is saying, they say you have 15 minutes of fame. Not to say he's not a guy that's 15 minutes of fame, but right now he's at 14 minutes and 50 seconds. Listen, Anthony Davis, that's not a knock. I don't want that to come across as a knock on him. But I mean, listen, I don't know why the Wizards would do that. 2 first-round picks, second rounders. I'm still digesting this. I mean, why would listen, I could see why, although I wouldn't like it, I could see why the Raptors are doing this. Because they're trying to win. They're trying to do something in the East. Maybe if Davis gets healthy, lightning in a bottle. I understand that. The Wizards, this makes absolute 0 sense. I understand the salaries. Davis, Chris Middleton's making a ton of money. Now, he's not making $60 million a year, but I believe he's making like 40. Marvin Bagley III, who hasn't panned out to be good at all. But 2 first-round picks? I don't know. I mean, listen, if anything, the Mavericks could finally say, hey, and one of those first-round picks, is it this year and next? Or it can't be back-to-back. This year and 2028, or is it 2027 and 2029? I know it's breaking. We got to find out. But why the Wizards would do that, I don't know. I know. I'm staring at the screen here in shock. Yeah, by the way, I was talking about Harden before. He's going to play against his former team tonight. So they made the trade, and it's not as if he hasn't even left. Happy tire screwball arbitration date to anyone that celebrates. Oh, God. So if he's either at $33 million or what was it? Like $21 million or maybe 19. I forgot what it was. Yeah, no, that's just trade details. Yeah, no, I just broke it down. I'm sure Bio threw it in there. Yeah, Washington is now basketball Siberia. Yeah, I don't understand the 2 first. I don't. Yeah, not as valuable. But the thing is, Bio, I mean, what if Washington, listen, if Dallas got their pick this year, it's got to be for 27 and 29. It can't be for this year's pick. It cannot. I mean, they're nuts. Their GM needs to get fired if that's the case. Yeah, 13 and 36. No, it's awful. I mean, that's why I'm I'm just trying to wrap my head around why would they trade for Anthony Davis? As I mentioned, I can see the Raptors doing that. Yeah, that one even it hurts my brain right now. Oh my goodness! I mean, Harden makes his debut for the King. Oh, all right, that makes sense too. But yeah, that's kind of I don't like that either. Well, I understand they got to wait for a physical. They got to pass. The trade just happened yesterday. Yeah, good point, Brandon. I like that. 19 mil. Yeah, 19 mil. And then I think in arbitration, did he want 31 point something? I think it was. Oh, welcome back, Val. Yes. Man, I don't know why the Wizards would do that. To me, that just makes nothing. It doesn't make any sense. So anyway, people, with that being said, I'm glad that was a good way, I guess, to end it because I know, and listen, I'll be honest, with not a lot of Super Bowl hype. Yeah, NBA, we talked a few trades. Nothing's going on in hockey. NHL, I get it. The players are going to go on their hiatus here. College basketball, I didn't even talk about. I know Arizona's 22-0. Well, I don't know if they played or lost last night, maybe. No, I would have known that. But, yeah, sports is going to start to hit that dead zone. Sports Dead Zone Part 1. So, yeah. We got to brace ourselves for that. That's why next week when I start doing the podcast live streams, that's right, live streams, it's going to be a little bit of a training test ground to see how those go. But with that being said, let me throw this out there, a little plug. Part 4 and the final of my series, a father-son and the Steelers Super Bowl 40 run this Sunday. Check it out if you haven't checked it out already. And yes, you got to throw this out there too. March 1st. So that's what? 3 weeks from this Sunday, I will have my 8th anniversary live stream. As I mentioned last week, it's going to be in the comfort of my own home because my wife won't be here. So, yeah, I could yell, scream, whatever, and I have to worry about having to secure a place and then have to shut off their music or, yeah. So I'm just going to have it here. So time to be determined. Obviously, we have plenty of time to talk about that, but I just want to throw that out there for you guys and gals as well. As you know, podcast pregame tomorrow right here on YouTube, not through the link, through the app itself. So if you go on YouTube, and I don't know where you see my live pop up. So check me out. We'll talk more about any trade deadline stuff. I don't know what's going to happen in the NFL. I know the awards will be announced with the MVP and all that, but isn't that tomorrow? If I'm not mistaken, or was it Saturday? I don't even know. But, yeah, any last thoughts? I see a comment there. I'll get to in a moment. And the latest edition of the podcast coming tomorrow. Apple, Spotify, of course, here on YouTube. And I thank each and every one of you for stopping by. Carving out precious time out of your day to listen to what it is I have to say about what goes on in the world of sports. Because whether you do or do not know, this is what I love to do, people. I know my usual suspects, my regulars. I thank you, as always, for stopping by. And for Brandon, I appreciate you jumping on board. Never too late. Hopefully you come on back, not only tomorrow for the podcast pregame. If you haven't subscribed, I implore you to do so. I'd appreciate that too. But, yeah, this is what I love to do, people. This is what I love to talk about, in the blood and the DNA, as I always like to say. Talking sports since birth. Because, as you know, as long as I'm sitting in front of this camera and microphone, I promise I'll deliver nothing but passion, fire, energy, fury with my thoughts, opinions, critiques, praise, analysis, feelings on anything and everything that happens on the world of the diamond, ice, gridiron, hardwood, golf course, racetrack, tennis court, boxing ring, octagon, you name it. From my lips to your ears, from my heart to your soul, from where I am to wherever you are. The J Reels live stream always comes live, correct, directed, in full effect. Yes, Bio, as always, thank you. You have a great day as well. Enjoy your hump day. Yes, we'll see if the Sharks win today, Val, for you, of course. Much appreciate you all. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow morning, 9:30 to 9:45 a.m. Eastern time for the latest podcast pregame. And until then, everybody, on the flip.